Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Welcome back to the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, back again with your co-host, Chris Coulson. Christopher, how you feeling?
Feeling fantastic, man. How you feeling?
Wonderful on a Wednesday. I need to make some amendments very quickly up top. This is something we haven't done in quite a while. I spoke on Elon Musk's children on Monday's episode of the show.
Hi.
I need to make a couple amendments here. First off, one of them died as an infant. Nevada Alexander Musk died of sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, at 10 weeks old. Didn't realize that. So 6 of his children are still alive. His triplet sons, Kai, Saxon, and Damien, were born in 2006. The woman with which he was married to and had these children with at the time, they got divorced in 2008. Anyway, neither here nor there, just an amendment and some more info on something I wasn't all that well informed on. So Mr. Musk has 6 children, lost 1. Musk family update complete. But in Tesla news, y'all seen the video that went viral of the chick? We actually put it on our Instagram too this morning. She's like, my sister got the new Tesla and you can make your horn whatever you want it to be or whatever, and then like shows her, and it's the chick sitting in the car playing Ludacris's "Move, bitch, get out the way, bitch, get out the way," which is, first of all, the second I heard that announcement, I made that joke out loud, IRL. And it was one of those ones where I was like, man,
That one's coming.
I kind of want to tweet this or like go do it right now, but surely somebody already has. And it's an example of a time as a member of Team Content where I just should have gone.
Yeah.
I just should have been quick on my feet.
Yeah.
And taken the opportunity. That could have been us.
Could have been us. Could have been us.
And it's my fault
Let
that
me
it
just
wasn't.
say, you had better dance moves than the girl in the car. I just want to put that out there. Hot take, maybe, but
Yeah, I feel like her trash dancing to "Move, bitch, get out the way" is part of what makes that video so beautiful, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just terrible, terrible moves. But point is, I need to decide what my horn noise is going to be. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, with the Tesla, you literally can upload, you stick a USB drive into your car, upload whatever soundbite you want. People are using different songs. Some people are recording their own personal, like, polite message and having it go out.
Yeah, polite, I'm sure. 100%.
You know, very polite. All of them are very polite and mature.
If you didn't know yet, William Ross Bolen has acquired himself a Tesla, by the way. If
you don't know that at this point, welcome to the show. This is your first episode, and you've never interacted with me on social media, and you don't know who I am. I'm a New York Times best-selling author and world-renowned brain surgeon who now focuses on philanthropy.
Because he broke his hands in a killer car crash in which he then acquired the Tesla from after. It's actually, his life story is
A
basically
killer car crash.
the plot of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That he's never seen because he
No,
doesn't
I
like-
actually have seen
Oh,
Doctor
really?
Strange. Oh, yeah.
Really?
I think it's the only Marvel Universe movie that I've seen
Look at that.
because I love Benedict Cumberbatch.
Really?
Yup.
He's an interesting actor to like stan, I feel like.
I don't stand the man.
Okay, cool.
I love the dude. He's a very talented actor. I plan on naming my firstborn son Benedict Cumberbatch Bolen.
That
And
actually has a nice ring to it.
and that'll be that. My homage to him and his career will be complete.
And it's a what's it called when something is the same forward and reverse?
Same but different.
Not even close, but let's just move
Oh,
on.
you're talking
from
about onomatopoeia?
that. That's still not even close, but let's just keep it rolling.
It's
If you want to
close.
throw out another one, we could keep going.
It's
Onomatopoeia
close.
is the name for a sound word.
I
like
know, but
bang.
onomatopoeia is in the category of words you're looking for.
Palindrome. It's a palindrome.
palindrome.
Fucking I cannot believe I got that.
Give me another
Let's
palindrome off the top.
NASCAR. No, that's not one.
No,
Wait,
what?
stock car? I think stock car. No, race car.
If
That's what it
it's-
is. Race car. Race
Yeah,
car
it has
is
to
one.
start and end with the same letter, just as a first rule,
Race car is one.
to even have a chance.
Race car is one.
Okay, race car. You're right. That is one.
That's what I was
remember
getting to. It took
when
me
they
a while.
taught us these in like 3rd grade, and I was like, oh, like at that point, it was the trippiest thing I'd ever been taught. I was like, oh my God. There are words that are the same forwards and backwards. Blew my little mind. But anyway, back to the horn thing. I've got to decide on what mine's going to be, and I've got to do this like today. Because it can't be like a month and a half from now after everybody's already worn out all the cool horn jokes. Obviously, the viral ludicrous move out the way thing has already been done. I was talking to Coles this morning. I was like, I think I might have been on Twitter. It's the same thing. About maybe making like one of the Mario Judah lyrics be my horn. So I press it and it's just like, I'm a big dog, big bet. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But that would probably get me arrested relatively quickly, or at the very least, like in a very serious road rage incident. So I don't really know what the movie. We joked about making it like the RBP, like either the part that's like Ross Bolen Podcast, and then just say you better listen or something like that, because that'd be marketing and effective traffic management. And we're an anti-honking podcast and an anti-road rage podcast, so I have to make it something that's going to be uplifting.
Oh, what if you just said you are not alone? It would never accomplish the purpose of a horn ever, but I mean, it would make people feel good.
If you were driving like an asshole and then somebody came up and just honked, you are not alone at you, you would be like, damn.
Or you would be like,
driving like a dick.
Or you would be like, hell yeah, everybody else is driving like a dick. I'm not alone.
I also kind of want it to be Scarface, just go low, baby, every single time I press the horn. But I don't play golf enough. Like, that's only really funny if you're like a golfer, like if I'm always like leaving the golf course and then maybe that's my thing now. Maybe I spend my spare time, because it's a golf thing.
That's a golf thing?
Yeah. He was saying, like, go low is like you score low on the golf course.
I mean, I get the reference. I just had no idea.
He yelled, go low, baby, because when we had our call and he was on the show, he was on the golf course, like literally at the same time, which made it
about that.
3-4 times cooler. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of options. That's the thing. So holler at me on social media at WR Bolen. Tell me what I should make the Tesla horn, because it's the last big decision I get to make with the car, frankly. I'm kind of done. I popped off the stupid aerodynamic hubcaps to make the tires look tighter or whatever, but like that's it. So this is my next big customization decision, and there aren't that many more to be made. I'm not going to like change the color of the car or anything, so I need some input. Help me, and thank you. Now it's time for some announcements and shouts. Rest in peace to one of our listeners, Will, who recently passed away. His brother reached out to Chris and I to let us know how much the podcast meant to them and wanted us to remind everyone to check in on loved ones, and just to remind all of you and us that we are not alone, that you are not alone. Bailey, we are here for you and the fam. Stay strong. We appreciate your email. It meant a lot to Chris and I, and we're praying for you and your family. So thank you for reaching out to us and letting us know. That's the kind of thing that really means a lot in this career. As sad as this particular news was, it's very meaningful to hear from you in regard to what you and your brother were able to share with the show. So thank you for reaching out to Chris and I. We got one birthday announcement today. Happy birthday back on December 27th to Bobby Turcolito. I picked one of the 4 potential names he sent me in the email. He was like, this, a.k.a. this, a.k.a. this, a.k.a. Bobby Turcolito.
You mix and matched?
No, I just went, all right, I'm picking Bobby Turcolito because that is a dope name. I hope it is your real one. It is cool. Anyway, thank you for supporting, and happy birthday. Dr. Dre had a brain aneurysm on Monday. Like the Dr. Dre.
Some scary shit.
And we almost managed to start 2021 in nearly as shitty a way as we started 2020, which I'll be real with you. This was like, I saw the Twitter news break and I was like, nope, this cannot be. I will not do this dance again. We just saw this formula roll out. Now, granted, I don't know that Dre is held in like the same esteem as like a family man and a real like role model in the way that Kobe was. I'm not trying to say Kobe and Dr. Dre are the same or anything like that. But that would have been devastating. The dude is apparently okay. He's being moved back to his home. It's one of those things where like not many people know a lot about brain aneurysms or how they function.
Aneurysms are scary. That's how I lost my. That's how my mom's dad passed when like way before I was born. But
no shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. Obviously, you don't know when they're coming.
Yeah.
There are some symptoms you can experience leading up to one, like usually headaches, pretty severe headaches, and vomiting and nausea. You have to be real careful, which is something that you can experience for a variety of different reasons, right? And not one that you would necessarily go to the hospital for, which is why brain aneurysms are so dangerous. In fact, like my first ever serious girlfriend ever, like first little love, you know what I'm saying, back in high school.
Sure.
She ended up experiencing a brain aneurysm several years later, And when
Really?
she did, it was when I learned about these things, because I thought if you had a brain aneurysm, you were dead. I didn't think there was like a version of that you could recover from or get to in time. Or there's all these different types of ways that these brain aneurysms and blood clots and different shit can happen in your brain, and some of it can be you can recover from after the fact.
Absolutely.
And not always all the way, but you can recover a lot and live a very happy, meaningful life.
Like a stroke.
Yeah, sort of, a little bit. And so it's a lot. The brain is a very complicated freaking thing, is the point. So
Absolutely.
You never really know. Like, in the case of Dre, it may be that they caught it so quick they were able to really treat him and get it taken care of, and he's going to be totally fine. I have no idea. I don't know the aftermath yet, but the good news is that Dre survived.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose a member of the hip-hop community that's that important right now. We've got enough going on. Let's just keep Dr. Dre around. And try not to think too hard about how Eminem's last few albums have just been weird.
Let's just keep everybody around. I wish we should just not die.
Not everybody.
All not die.
Not everybody.
Oh, okay.
I've got a list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to watch our show instead of just listen, you can do so on youtube.com/Bolen Media. youtube.com/BOLENMEDIA.
Is that how you stay off the list?
You go there now and
Yeah.
you subscribe. We got a
Yeah.
couple thousand subscribers on the old YouTube. But there's like hundreds of hours of delicious podcast footage for you to enjoy. So if you like watching podcasts, all Bolen Media podcasts are available in full video at youtube.com/Bolen Media. From every episode of the Ross Bolen Podcast to our television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, to the episode of our Westworld podcast, Freeze All Motor Functions, where I almost contracted COVID by striking my co-host Jared Borslow with a riding crop.
I stand by the fact that Ross may be the only person on planet Earth to have almost been infected by COVID via riding crop.
Yeah. So youtube.com/Bolen Media if you want to see the proof in the pudding live on camera. It's right there. If you want an ad-free episode of this show every Friday, an exclusive premium ad-free edition of RBP every Friday, there's only one place to get that.
Only
and it's
one.
Patreon.
Yep.
Patreon. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. We demand you go. We demand you join. We demand you support the show with a minimum $5 pledge per month, and then you get all those Friday ad-free episodes. They're a ton of fun. We put a preview, like a 8-10 minute preview from Coles and I's first episode of 2021 officially, which was only available on Patreon, and it was a lot of fun. So if you want a preview of sort of how Patreon works, go to the most recent episode of RBP, listen to the preview down in the segment that was called 2021 Podcast Release Schedule, I believe it was. And then you'll know how Patreon works. Patreon. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Go support the show. Now it's time for our first segment of today's show. We all live in a yellow submarine. So on Monday's episode, Coles and I did a call out. I mean, sorta.
Kinda.
To find out if any of our listeners were listening on a submarine. And neither one of us, Coles or I, can remember why we did this or what was actually going on or what we were talking about.
Nope, no idea.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Interestingly enough, I received this email yesterday on Tuesday, January 5th. It said, "Hey, Ross, please leave my name out of this if you share it. I'm a lieutenant on board a U.S. Navy submarine stationed out of Kings Bay, Georgia, specifically one of the ones that carries the nukes. Can neither confirm nor deny if we actually have them, and definitely can't say how many." Does he mean him specifically? Because we know we got them, like as in us in America.
I think specifically
He
he
means
cannot confirm
on their
or
sub.
deny, like on their sub he can't confirm or deny if Kings Bay, Georgia has nukes.
Multiple nukes or not.
And I think
I'm just going to go ahead and take it as like they've got at least two based on that.
Well, I could be 100% wrong here, but I feel like at one point I used to watch a lot of like military TV growing up for some reason. No idea why.
What does
like
that even mean?
History. There's a channel called the Military Channel, and they just show a bunch of like documentaries about
What the
like
fuck?
wars and shit like that. Yeah, I'm not
For
kidding.
real?
Yeah, I used to watch that in the History Channel all the time. That's why I'm like a really big history buff.
Damn.
Don't know why.
See, I
Crazy
just watched Saving Private
Well-
Ryan and like Band of Brothers over and over.
I do know exactly why. It's because I was spending a lot of time at my granddad's house.
Now, are
and
you
he's
talking
a big
about the
military
American
guy.
Heroes channel?
No, I'm talking about the Military
It
Channel.
was formerly called the Military
Oh,
Channel
then,
and
yeah,
originally
probably.
Discovery Wings channel.
Okay. I was post Discovery Wings, what's it called?
American
now?
Heroes channel.
Pre-American Heroes channel. Yeah. So
It's
I was
owned
like
by
right in the middle.
Discovery,
Look at that.
which I once owned Stonk in Discovery.
Did you discover that their stonk wasn't worth investing in?
No, this was at the beginning though when I was just doing dumb shit like that I really didn't know what I was doing, and
Yeah.
like a few months later I was like, I think I made $30 or something, and I was like, I'm out.
Oh.
I don't know anything.
But
about
anyway,
what
where I was
Discovery
going
is
with
doing.
that is I'm pretty sure like lower ranked people on submarines don't actually like they know that they have maybe nuclear casings, but they don't know if they're like active nuclear warheads or just missiles.
Yeah, not everybody needs to know.
Yeah,
It's a need-to-know basis.
Exactly.
And you don't need to know if you're floating underground on a small contained vessel that
Sure.
also has a nuclear bomb on it. You don't
Sure.
need to know.
You don't need that. You don't need that.
You may want to know,
I'd like to know.
but you don't need to know.
The only thing I really know about current submarines is one time I saw a anti-bath salts ad put out by the Navy that took place on a submarine in which a sailor ate out another sailor's face.
Jesus
I
Christ.
shouldn't have said ate out.
What?
That was weird. Should have just said ate.
Anyway, on this email, he says, I was listening to your January 4th episode, and I really appreciate the sub shout-out. Again, we don't remember, but you're welcome. I've been a listener since the very start, and your podcast has gotten me through some rough times. Every time before I go out for deployment, I stop listening for a few weeks and save up the episodes so that I can listen underwater. No service underwater, obviously. And I'll tell you, it helps immensely. I love what you and Chris are doing, and I'm praying for your continued success. Know that your pod has been listened to at the depths of the ocean all around the world. Now we've just got to put you in space. Peace be with you, and also with you. So it turns out we are underwater.
Look at that. How about that? RBP below sea level.
And frankly, with the Elon Twitter I feel like we're just that much closer to being in space. Because
Honestly.
the man owns SpaceX.
Honestly, yeah.
Ipso facto, we may be the official podcast of Space Force in the future.
Yes, very true.
possible.
Theoretically, also, like, if Elon called in from space, we would kind of be in space already. So I feel like that's our next step. And then once we've got that far, that's when Space Force starts to reach out. We start working with them. Steve Carell gives us a call. All of a sudden, we move out to Nevada. I see the gears turning in my head already.
Space, the final frontier.
Well, while we're talking submarines, I'd like to shout out my favorite in the world's first submersible, the Turtle. You know the Turtle? It was
No,
first used
not familiar with the turtle.
First used by American revolutionaries in 1776. And on the topic of turtles, I would like to say, fuck Mitch McConnell. Give us our stimulus check, you cold-hearted corpse man.
Why is he so turtly? Is that just like, I swear that's only old white people, man. Like, find me another race of person that looks that turtly just as a result of, like, aging and not having good genetics and taking care of yourself in any way, shape, or form.
I also have to think there has to be things that have been injected in him over the years that have created more Reptile Man
turtly
is
features.
maybe Reptile Man is starting to come out underneath. You know what the conspiracy theorists say? We're run by the reptile people,
The lizard people.
the lizard people.
Yeah.
We'll talk on that later.
The things that those people believe, man.
Yeah, what the aliens dropped off for us.
I'm looking for, like, there was some good submarine movies.
Are there?
One of them was called, like, The Thin Red Line or some shit like that. I don't know. I feel like Sean Connery's in all of them. Oh, The Hunt for Red October. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Sean Connery. Rest in peace to one of the goats.
You know what the cool thing about having a gang member on...
Yeah.
You know what the cool thing about having a gang member on a submarine is?
Hmm.
When the apocalypse comes, they'll basically be like one of the final survivors on Earth, and they'll need the knowledge passed down to them through RBP to restart civilization. So if you really think about it, RBP is basically the Earth, the hearth of
hearth.
future civilizations,
I agree with
more
that.
or less.
I tend to agree.
We're the passers of knowledge. We're doing big things here.
We
proud
are
of
the
us.
capsule of human knowledge being passed down from generation to generation via sound waves.
That's all we can do.
RBP 363 is brought to you by MyBookie. MyBookie.ag is our sports betting sponsor here on the Ross Bolen Podcast. We love sports. You love sports. # sports. Use the code RBP when you sign up on MyBookie.ag for a deposit match and all the best sports betting the internet has to offer. MyBookie's been sponsoring our show for at least over a year now. They've been a great partner. A lot of listeners enjoying them as their go-to sports betting destination now. Very responsive customer service team. Easy payouts. You just go and sign up on MyBookie.ag. You use the code RBP when you sign up to get a deposit match. Stipulations apply. And then you go get to betting on NBA, NFL playoffs, golf, soccer, college sports, MMA, whatever your heart desires. MyBookie.ag has it. They've got all kinds of odds, all kinds of cool prop bets, all kinds of insane. You can bet on politics, television shows, cage fighting, and then normal sports like baseball or whatever, you know, when it's in season. MyBookie.ag, code RBP. Get that deposit bonus today. Start betting sports on the best sports betting website that the internet has to offer. MyBookie.ag, code RBP. Next segment. The truth is out there. So, Coles, you know how in 2020 we had a couple different instances of alien news, okay?
Sure.
And we're not typically the alien podcast. We don't obsess over extraterrestrial potential or whatever the fuck. We talk about space or whatever and make Space Force jokes, but like we're not obsessed with UFO shit. That's not really our bag, I wouldn't say.
Don't speak for me, Ross.
You have.
Not verbalized.
It's not in your top 3 like things you're really interested in that you look up and watch all the time and shit though. Because I see what you look up and watch all the time. It's usually not alien shit.
I would actually like to hear. Do you want to give? Can you give me my top 3 real quick?
Yeah, like YouTube documentaries about attempts at socialist societies.
Okay.
YouTube documentaries about how Star Wars was like done wrong and shit.
Okay.
And then classic anime theater. Those are the 3 things you're most interested in.
Okay.
And
you're actually not that far off.
And
I'll take it.
fucking jeans that expose your knees.
Well, they're the same jeans every fucking day. That's why.
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's a great thing about pants, man. Like you could just wear the same pants over and over.
Dude,
and nobody
these
gives a
jeans.
fuck.
So my mom. We'll go back to the aliens.
Yeah.
My mom works for a national outlet mall company in which she works for a lot of clothing. She works with a lot of clothing brands.
Right.
She works with Lucky Brand specifically, which is a national jean brand. One time, one of her reps from Lucky Brand told her, "You're not supposed to ever wash jeans unless they're physically dirty. Like you just wear them always, unless they're like actually gross. Because jeans, that like denim, the material, is not meant to be washed. Because the more you wear them, the more they get more and more comfortable.
Yes.
And they get
Broken
looser
in,
and softer.
fitted to you,
Exactly.
softer. Yeah, it's funny. Like when I bought my first pair of adult nice designer jeans with Barrett, oddly enough, like I didn't know how to go shopping for myself even when I got out of college, and I'd be like, Barrett, you're the only dude I know who doesn't dress like a fucking idiot. I need you to go to Barney's with me and help me buy some jeans. So he did.
Okay.
And when I bought them, he was like, all right, now you can't wash these for like 3.5 fucking years. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, and they're going to be like cardboard for the first 6 months. But like you break them in, you wear them, you never, ever, ever, ever wash them. And then like literally after X amount of wears, when you've got like all these like imprints from shit you've had in your pockets and cool faded stuff and whatever from your sweat and just living in life.
Yep.
Then you can wash them like in a very particular fucking
Like
specific
cold water,
way. Yeah.
natural soap,
So
no
with me,
dryer.
I never even got to the point where I ended up getting to wash those jeans because I built Chungist, and then those jeans became like, I don't know, roughly a 36 probably. I think they started at 34 and they became a 36 by the time
You had the
Chungist
Mike Jordan jeans.
was done doing the thing. And man, them aren't even close to fitting. Speaking of which, I tried to put on my tuxedo from my wedding. Because when you get married, you get a tuxedo, and like you either rent it or you buy one. And usually, if you got a bunch of groomsmen that are getting tuxedos rented, they give you this special deal where it's like you all rent your tuxedos and you get like 60% off yours. And so I bought this badass, I can't remember which designer it is, and I don't want to say the wrong one, but this tuxedo. And I put on the jacket, and I was like, "Oh fuck, this still looks good as shit. I'm gonna look cold on New Year's Eve." And then I put on the pants and was like, "If I can gain 40 pounds in the next 20 minutes," because it was like a Subway commercial back before everyone found out Jared was a pedophile, where he was just standing there wearing these huge pants. Like, I could fit 3 kids in these pants with me, and you're like, at the time we were like, that's not even a weird joke. It was like that. It was just like that. So like. Honestly, it's not even a moment of pride at this point. I wasn't like, man, look how far I've come. I was just like, fuck, I just want pants that fit.
That's kind of where I'm at now.
Like, it's not, you know what I mean? It's like people put on their old jeans and they're like, I'm really doing it. That was not this. This was like, fuck me. So then I ended up having to dress like A$AP Rocky and throw on like some weird, whatever these other normal pants are I wear all the time from Zane Robe. And then the whole thing was just strange, Coles.
I think it was a good pivot, in all honesty.
I appreciate that.
It was like the casual tuxedo.
I tried to do
very
something.
2021.
People were very impressed.
Very fitting to end off the year, in all honesty. I mean, if it went perfectly, it wouldn't have been 2020.
True enough.
I mean, that joke is so overused at this point. I'm never going to make another one again.
So
That's it.
Beginning of the year, we had that or not beginning of the year, but at some point in 2020 early on, we had the whole Air Force situation come out where it was like, all right, we've got this footage of these UFOs.
Just zooming everywhere. They're just buzzing,
these
zooming,
Air Force
having a good
guys
old
were
time.
like, what the hell is that? I've watched the video. It's pretty wild. But then there was nothing that made me be like, oh my God, we're going to die. And then we had this Harvard professor come out at the end of 2020 saying, that an alien visited in 2017 or some shit, like, which is, again, funny because that was actually just Bill Chungus, not an alien. But it got me to thinking, wouldn't now be the actually best time ever for aliens to come through? Because think about it. If in 2018 or like 2019 aliens had just dropped in, it absolutely would have been sheer pandemonium like you would expect that you see in the movies. And, half the people would have wanted to nuke the alien or whatever. And then the other half would have been like, it's one alien and he's standing on our planet. Why would we nuke him? Whatever. But now, after a full year, like a full calendar year of pandemicking and social distancing and masking and voting and electing and coughing and shit, like there's really, really basically nothing that could happen that would make me say, no way. Like, I really don't. If they were like, the aliens have landed on Plymouth Rock, I would be like, yeah, all right. Well, what are they doing? Like, what's the next step? Is this it? Are we all going to die? Or is this like, we're going to be homies? What's the situation?
I mean, when you bring that up, it just makes me think we'll have 2 Thanksgivings every year. And I'm all about having 2 Thanksgivings every year. We have one with the aliens and one from that we don't really acknowledge the travesty that went on at the time.
I was going to say, this sounds like a dangerous
but,
proposition that ends with the aliens like removing us from planet Earth. And then in like 2,000 years, the aliens are still on Earth celebrating Thanksgiving every fucking, let's say, July 14th. And they're not teaching their kids that they actually exterminated the human race to make Thanksgiving happen. In their version, it's like, and we came down and the humans fed us Popeyes and
decided to leave.
And McDonald's so that we could survive. And it was a beautiful relationship and everybody won. But in reality, they, like raped and pillaged and murdered everybody.
I mean, Ross, let's look at history here. I mean, they would have done it before. They've been here multiple times. They would have just exterminated us already. Look at Stonehenge. Explain how the pyramids
signs,
have
movie signs.
The movie signs, exactly. The pyramids,
Documentary, not many people know
electromagnetic
that.
energy. I mean, one of my heroes. Have you never seen Ancient Aliens? One of my heroes is Giorgio A. Sezoukas, the guy from Ancient Aliens, of course.
Ancient Aliens is a 2010 documentary that has 16 seasons.
Yes.
Oh, wow. No, I haven't seen this.
Never seen it?
Is it
It's
just every episode?
It's
why
basically
are there
my
so
Bible.
Many seasons?
Because it explains the history of the world, Ross. There's a lot of history to go over. Aliens
Why
have
is
been
it
here
called
a lot.
Ancient Aliens?
Because aliens built this world, Ross.
Oh,
Duh.
did they?
Yes.
Fuck. Dude.
Obviously. Where have you been?
That would also be funny as shit if an alien came down and it was just like some little green dweeb and he was like, "Sup? So yeah, I'm God. Like I'm the God y'all been talking to this whole time. Anyway, this was just like I was fucking around and things got really out of control, like a Rick and Morty situation almost. Like things just got really out of control. But y'all seem to be doing all right. I just wanted to come through and explain. This whole thing was just like I was a little project for me on the side. I was bored. I kind of forgot y'all were down here even, frankly. Anyway, here's another strain of a virus to deal with. Peace." And then just chunks deuce.
I think that'd be honestly pretty great.
Is that in an episode of Ancient Aliens?
I think that would get us so far past our current world society. We would just be like, oh, well, fuck all the small shit we've been worrying about. Let's just live.
I'm with you.
Freedom of expression, baby.
Now is the
Have a good
time, though.
life.
Somebody
It is the
needs to
time.
tell the little green men that now is the time. I want them to come down. I want them to do it, preferably before we even swear Biden in, because I want the aliens to have to shake hands with Donald Trump just so it'll be like...
Well, they already have. Did you know? You didn't even mention the Israeli Galactic Federation, Mars we have on base, or on Mars, with the base on Mars. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I also have no idea.
Okay, so an ex-Israeli defense minister tweeted a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I believe, that they have been in talks with a galactic federation of aliens,
Right.
have a co-op together to have built a base on Mars in which they send representatives from Earth to Mars to meet with said federation.
Right.
Trump also knows about this federation.
And that they asked him nicely not to tell anyone, right?
The aliens told, and Trump was gonna divulge it, but they told Trump, don't do that because it would cause mass hysteria. And he was like, dope. That's exactly word for word.
They've been waiting for us to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are, which, like, yo, we kind of hit that a while back. Y'all should pay closer attention. I saw Independence Day so many years ago, and y'all still think we're not ready We're so clearly ready. We're so clearly a stable, well-functioning society with very little to no conflict. And frankly, the number one thing they got to be looking at is those nuclear weapons we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And they're looking at them and they're counting them and they're like, I don't know if we should go down there. I don't know. I don't know if we should go down there.
Well, they're probably like, as soon as we go down there, every single one of those hoes is coming out of the ground, and they're probably going to try to hit us. And if they don't hit us, there goes the planet we're trying to land on. Sorry about that, guys.
I want them to have to shake hands with Trump, with the Don,
and he
and
can
like
treat
make
them
whatever deal to enslave us into mining unobtainium for them on Pluto or whatever. But like, let's get it over with. Now is the time.
Why are
We've
you
all
so
been through a
convinced
lot.
these aliens are so bad?
I'm not trying to sit here and wait it out. Like, I don't want to be 74 years old when this happens and not really give a shit. Come now while I'm still engaged.
74,
I'm
Ross.
still actively invested in what happens to the other humans on some level. Like, come through.
74 is like, it's not that old.
This is where I'm at, though, in my personal life, where I'm just kind of ready for whatever. Like, if 2021 is when God rolls through, or the aliens, or the little alien that ends up being God, or COVID-20, I'm ready, man. Like, I can't even decide if the more beautiful part of life is when you're so naive and pure and young. You know, I was like 12 years old when I had this. Everything seems perfect and awesome. If you're lucky enough to experience like privileged upbringing, if that's the most beautiful part, when you're just so pure and the world is this shining beacon of hope, or if it's after you're like a truly awake adult and you can see how absolutely fucked everything is, so at some point the world becomes so terrifying that you actually stop being afraid because the only thing to fear is fear itself, and boom, you're suddenly just kind of over it all, and that's where I'm at today. Like, so much has happened at this point that I'm just like, what else you got?
I think the aliens just want to come hang out. They're just like bored. They just don't have anybody else to hang out with. All the other aliens are kind of boring. They need something new.
If you were an alien and you were looking down and around the universe for a squad, you would pick this place.
Okay, I'll put it to you this way. If you were going out, would you rather go out with Stephen Hawking or Snooki?
Well, now?
Do you see? No.
Snooki.
Just, yeah.
Because she's a living, breathing human.
Okay.
But
do you get what I'm saying?
back in the day, Stephen Hawking. For sure.
All right, never mind.
When he was alive. What did that have to do with anything?
Because I'm saying we're the Snookies of the universe, Ross.
Oh.
They want to they're bored of super intelligence, all-knowing beings, and they want to come party with some small-minded idiots.
Oh, I got you. They want to go to the shore for the fucking summer, and we are the Jersey Shore of the universe, is what you're saying.
Exactly
This is the shore house where they send their version of Mike the Situation and Ronnie, the alien version of them. And they come here to the shore house and just like fuck everything up.
Yes, we're
the
the Tijuana donkey house of the universe that they're sending all the degenerates to come have a good time because they're bored of the high society of Galactic Federation.
That's my favorite version of aliens that could take place, is that the aliens do Earth like we did like Australia, where they're just like, okay guys, group meeting. Every alien that has committed a crime against Globnarb will be sent to planet Earth to serve their sentence and colonize. Get on the fucking bus. Criminals only. Let's go.
What did Australia have to do with that?
That's how Australia was colonized.
We sent...
No, the British.
Oh, they sent all their bad people there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's a few different places that are like this. Actually, several.
I feel like most of the colonized world was probably kind of like that.
No, but there's a few that were like, literally, it was all the prisoners from their prisons, and they were like, and this is your new home. Run and play with the kangaroos.
It's like Siberia and the Gulag.
I want to say part of Louisiana had this shit, too. Where we were just like, we're going to stick all these people here. Good luck. And then we were like, and also no rules for that state.
I think you're thinking Georgia. I know during the...
Georgia?
In the colonies
No, it's
time...
a part of Louisiana, I swear.
Oh.
Also. I bet there's a lot of this, is what I mean.
In colonies times, Georgia was like the outlaw state. So they sent all the criminals.
Frankly, taking all of the prisoners from the prison and sending them to a new country and being like,
good luck.
You got this, is a lot cooler than just like setting up a privatized industry that forces them all to do things like make like license plates and work on the highways and shit. Like, I like the Australia version better. If I ever end up in the clink, ship my ass somewhere remote, and I'll start a new civilization. Let's go ahead and make that deal with the DA right now if we can. If we can get that signed, like pre-trial diversion type of deal, let's go.
Guantanamo?
Get my lawyers on the phone. Let's make this thing happen. Opposite of Guantanamo.
Gotcha.
Do not want to go to there. Saw that fucking Harold and Kumar movie. Looked like a whole bunch of pole smoking has to go down. That's not something that I would get used to easily.
Epstein Island.
Now, there's no one there, frankly, and I would be total. Look, if somebody was like, hey, we're trying to unload Epstein Island. Nobody wants it. The vibes are shit. I'd be like, look, if you throw in 300 sage candles with the island, you've got a deal. Because I'm just going to walk around the first year saging the fuck out of everything to get the Epstein vibes out. You know, the sex crime vibes.
You're going to Kyrie it?
And yeah, just the whole island, though.
That was Kyrie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit every day. Kyrie sages all the different courts he
Yeah.
goes and plays at now.
Yeah.
There's actually a cool reason behind it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
He's
he
so
has,
fucking weird. I love that dude.
I think. Well, I saw some tweets that he has some like Native American blood in him potentially. I'm not sure if I'm correct on that. I saw somebody tweet
you
that.
just folded on
Could
trying
be
to say
wrong.
indigenous, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
That happens to me a lot.
Well,
I'll get one letter into a word and be like, nope.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about indigenous. There you go. I said it just to.
The indigenese.
Yeah, I just wanted to say indigenous. I had no idea where I was going with
There's
that
like
sentence.
3 or 4 appropriate things that you're like that you call Native Americans now, and I'm pretty sure
it's just Native Americans and indigenous people, or peoples. I think that's a term. That's a time you can use peoples. There's certain times you can use peoples.
Where's Mariah when you
I'm
need
pretty
her?
sure that's a time you can use peoples.
I think it's indigenous peoples or native peoples. There's several. Anyway, Google Native American PC terminology, and you'll be all set, chat.
Shouts to them for the creators game, lacrosse.
I just call y'all chat? God, we're streaming too much.
Yeah, probably.
Way too
It's
much.
been a great time.
Bring it on, though. If the aliens are going to do it, let's do it.
I mean, we're ready for it. We've been playing Apex Legends a lot. I mean, we're ready to protect the world from aliens.
Get to the chopper. Do it now. I'm actually like one of the least equipped people in Texas to defend us. We're going to need to hit an Academy Sports and Outdoors on the way home
You have a robot car.
and load the fuck up. Yeah, but the robot car, although it looks like it has James Bond features on the front that maybe you would press a button and a cap would flip up and a little missile would shoot out, it does not, I asked.
Yet.
I asked.
It
Does not. Also, my paper tag's expired and I have no proof of ownership. If I get pulled over, I'm going to jail. So you may have to bail me out. Just
Also,
a heads up.
Ross had the opportunity to buy subs for the Frunk yesterday and did
Frunk.
not. He did not.
Also, got the Lexus picked up, donated that shit, feel great about it. Not necessarily because I donate, although it's cool that it gets to go to like a family that needs it or whatever, but it was sitting in front of my house like with a flat tire and shit for like 4 months, man. It was depressing as hell. It's finally gone. And I'm no longer one of these Austinites who just has like their last 2 or 3 cars parked out. You know how people used to just stack their TVs on top of each other?
No.
Oh, we got a new TV. It's 1948. We're going to fucking stack it on top of the old TV, and the old TV becomes your TV stand.
I don't think anybody ever did that.
Oh, you're very wrong.
I probably am.
And that's what what people in Austin in particular do with their cars. They're like, oh, this car died. We'll just park it in the front yard and buy another car. And it's like, but why? Why are there just dead cars all over my neighborhood? I'm serious. When we go back home, look out the windows. I'll point them out. I'll be like, that car hasn't moved in 6 months. That car hasn't moved in a year and a half. That car has never moved, ever. It doesn't have wheels. It's weird. These people are weird. That car has potted plants inside of it and a person
The only
sleeping.
car that I'm really interested in is that sick little BMW E30 that's on the right side of the road when you're pulling into your neighborhood, headed to your house.
BMW E30.
They have another BMW that's like a 2009
Oh,
as
that
well
is
right next to it.
sick.
Yeah. It's so dope.
1982 to 1994.
It's one of the later models for sure, but yeah, it's a sick one.
The period of time I'm looking forward to is when you can go buy like an old school and then it's like only a few grand to have it converted into like an electric self-driving car or some shit. But that's probably like a good 500 years away.
It's only a few grand you're saying to where you can buy like any car
Yeah.
and it's
then
a couple
convert it.
grand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
500 years
that's a
away.
good chunk.
That's 500 years.
It's in all honesty, it'd probably always be cheaper to just buy a brand new electric stripped out car. than to convert anything ever.
Yeah, but it will be affordable to do what I want to do in 500 years' time. So all I have to do
Is make sure
get so close to Elon that he'll hook me up with the chip that they put in my brain that gets me. And actually, I think somewhere around 65, I'd like to clock out for a couple hundred years, pop back in, see how things are going, maybe clock back out if we're not there yet, and then clock back in.
You want to fry it?
This is available. That's what I wanna
Futurama
do.
fry style.
Yeah.
Cryotherapy for yourself for a couple 100,000 years. Come back. That'd be a good life.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Pop around a little bit.
Yeah.
I was telling Ross the other day I was watching this new show Outlander in which time travel
It's
occurs.
not new.
New for me, Ross.
Okay,
New for me.
You're okay. New for you. I thought you meant like new
Unbelievable.
on the air. Okay,
No,
not new on the air though. Very old.
unbelievable. And there's not enough emphasis on the questions. I mean, she finally outs herself as a time traveler to somebody, and he just doesn't ask any questions. And I'm just like, ask some fucking questions, dude. Do you not want to know about the future? Do you not? All he asks about are fucking airplanes. That's it. Only airplanes. Doesn't make any sense.
Outlander problems. That will do it for today's episode. But before you head out to take on the world, it's time for some very important announcements. First and foremost, you've been saddled with 3 legal obligations as a result of having listened to this entire podcast. The first of which is that you must rate and review. Give us 2 or 3 sentences about why you love the show. 5 stars. Rate and review, specifically on Apple Podcasts. That's the most helpful place. Rate and review, subscribe, rate and review. It means a lot. It helps us grow the show, get exposure on the charts, helps new people find us. Which brings me to your next legal obligation. Number 2, to share the show with one person this week, one person next week, one person every week until the week you die. It could be a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, just any one individual that you think might enjoy the Ross Bolen podcast, maybe somebody that has some mental health struggles recently or some substance abuse issues or somebody that just loves animals or jokes or having a good time. Share the show with them. One person this week, one person next week, one person every week. Check that box. Move on to number 3. Your final legal obligation, which is to support our sponsors who support us and keep us in business. Today's one and only sponsor, MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Use the code RBP when you sign up at our sports betting sponsor, MyBookie.ag, for a deposit match. Code RBP at MyBookie.ag. Fulfill all 3 legal obligations, and we can all live long and prosper. I'll call off the dogs. We won't have to see each other in court. It'll be great. If you have social media and would like to keep up with the show there, on Instagram, you can find us at the Ross Bolen Podcast, on Twitter, at Ross Bolen Pod, and we are on Facebook.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. You can follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at WRBOLEN, at WR Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Also, Chris and I are live a few times a week on Twitch at twitch.tv/Boss Rollin'. That is Ross Bolen with the B and the R reversed, twitch.tv/Boss Rollin'. Christopher, where can everybody follow you on the social mediums?
You can follow me on Twitter at Q0ULS. You can find me on Instagram at ChrisSC99. And you can find me on Snapchat at Chris_Coulson. That's COULSON.
Check out Bolen Media's television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, wherever you listen to the Ross Bolen podcast. If you love TV and movies, you will love OCC. That's Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, also available to watch on youtube.com/Bolen Media. That will do it for RBP 363, produced by Mike Moody Garcia of Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. Coles and I will be back Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday as well with RBP 364. Go now. Start this year with access to exclusive ad-free episodes of RBP for members of the RBP gang pledging their monthly support to keep the podcast showing and growing. Minimum of just $5 monthly on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. To get those ad-free Friday episodes, go listen to the most recent few. Have yourself a grand old time. Go sign up right now. Come through, support the show. Get more RBP every Friday. No ads, more madness. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. You are not alone. Podmen get paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Calls.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.